Hello all, welcome to this particular SAS Programming Master Classes. I'm Naidu, I'm a SAS trainer and programmer, people who are new to this particular class. And in the last class, we have learned about different windows. Within that, we try to learn about a first editor window with the different options. By using editor window, we can able to write a programs. We can access and edit existing programs we have seen, and we can see that how to save the files in SAS, how to run the program also we have seen. So in this particular class, what we are going to learn is in the next slide is trying to talk about different keyboard shortcuts, what you need to keep in mind while working with SAS. What is this particular, all these particular, what I can say, the shortcuts. So it's easy for us when you are trying to use your SAS software. So like you can open the files, you can copy paste a selected text, and as well as pasting of copied text, saving the current files. So all those things one by one I will try to explain in today's class. So for that, first of all, what I will do is let me try to jump into SAS software, which is here. Okay. So then I'm trying to write it. What I try to do is let me try writing a simple program, which you already know that. How to write a simple program. Whenever you want to write any program in SAS, it must be start with a keyword called data, then followed by your data set name. So then followed by input is the statement, then followed by, I'm just trying to write it something called employee ID, age of that employee, and gender I'm trying to write it, and make sure to write a semicolon. Gender is a character data. To read the character values in SAS, it must be start with a dollar sign. I'll try to mention. Then followed by data lines, I can write it. Yesterday I have written a cards or data lines. Any of one you can write it. That's up to you. Then employee ID of the person is 1. Age of the employee is 45. The gender is male. Another person is 2. 55. Female. Another person is 3. Maybe I'll try to enter it 78 years. Male or something. Give the semicolon at a 7th line only. Don't give it a semicolon in the 6th line. The total row won't work. So I'll try to write a semicolon in the 7th line, and then writing a run statement. So if I select this particular piece of code, execute it, don't expect output to be created in the output window, because I have written steps like a data onwards up to run step. We call it as a data step. I executed a data step. So the data step result is creating a data set. Go to libraries location, work library, test is the data which you have created, and that is just representing here and it is appearing here. But my interest is to see the output in output window. So how I can tell to my SAS, by just using an option called proc, means it's a procedure. Print, you are printing it, data equal to your data set name. So that is going to be test, semicolon, and run. This will allow me to just print the output in output window. So now you can see that I'm getting output in output window. So nice and clean, I'm getting it. You see that right now? Yeah. Employee ID, age wise and gender wise, the information it is printing. Yeah, there is no problem about it. So yeah, this is what I have created my data set here. And if you want it, I can print it as same. But now what I will do is, imagine, as of now, it is a simple program. How to write it, we learned. My interest is to save this particular code. How can I save it? I can just save this code by just pressing Ctrl S. When I'm just pressing Ctrl S, it is asking me where you want to save this code. I can save it on the desktop, C drive, D drive, whatever the location you want it, you can just go for it. In my this PC, I have another drive with me with the name of here. I'll try to just save this particular file into this location. So which is the location I will try to give it. I think do you have any folder specific? I don't have any folder specific, but yeah, I have a practice is the folder which is there with me. Let me just save it here. I already have some file is already there in my in this particular folder. Earlier it is created. That's okay. I'm not worried about it. Let me try creating a new name for it. Okay. So this is my practice one is the name. I'm trying to keep it for this particular program name. I'm just clicking on save. That's it. That is the way of saving the file. What I have done, I selected, I have written, and then I just used an option called Control S so that it automatically saves the file. Okay, imagine I have closed it. Okay, just imagine I have closed it. I want to open that file again. Okay, now there is no editor window opened. I want to open that program again. What I can do is I can just click on Control O, or you can directly go for this one, open program. See, here also have an option called save as and open program. So now I want to open a program, Control O also I can press it, or else open program also I can just use it. You choose the location where your program is located, click open so that you can open the same code again. Control S for saving the code, Control O for opening the code. We can do that. And imagine, so you're writing the editor window name called practice one. This is the file. What you are trying to do is, I want to create a one more program name called practice two. So then how can I create a new one? See, one option I always have it here. I can copy the code and I can paste it here at the down. But instead of this, I want to create a one more window with the name of practice 2 because I don't want to disturb the existing code or existing program at all. So how I can create it? By using Control N so that a new window will open. So now the new window, I want to copy the same code like this one. So what I can do is I can select it by using Control C to copy the program. So I'll come to this particular editor. I'll just use Control V. Control V is nothing but paste. Control C for copy. Okay. I copied this particular program from here and I pasted in this particular window here. Again, I want to save this particular second program also. I can use Control S. Then it will ask me what name you want to write it. Practice 2, you want to keep it. Let's select the practice 1 so that automatically I'll get the name. So try to remove this one and make it 2, save it. So that another program is saved with the name of this one. You can do certain changes. Instead of this one tester, you can write your dataset name as ABC. So it will work. This is my new program, I can say that. So this is my first program which I have created. This is my second program. So total 3 things you have learned now. One is how to save the program, you know, how to open the program, you know, and how to open the new window if you want it. Yeah, you have seen. Apart from that, you know how to copy the program by using Control C and you know how to paste it. Okay. And there is one more concept called cut paste. Imagine I have written a code here called proc print data equal to test and all. So according to the requirement, we don't need this piece of code to be displayed here. Then what I can tell to my SAS is I'll just use Control X. I'll cut it. Control X for cutting it. And then I want to continue with it. Suppose imagine I want to paste it here. Control V. Control X means cut paste. Control C means copy paste. Understand? Control C for copy. Control V for paste. But Control X also will work to cut your programs if you want it. Yeah, you can do that also. So it will be working like that. So Control X for cut and Control V for paste. Apart from that, don't remove it from here. Let it that back, put it back. Then what I can tell to my SAS, I using an option called Control Z so that undo it. When I click on Control Z so that it is coming back, undo. Or else, no, let it be happen removing from here, Control Y. Control Y for redo, Control Z for undo. Okay, so we can do that also. Control Z for undo and Control Y for redo. And sometimes what happens, you know, within this particular programs, I have a gender variable. Suddenly this variable is not required in my new program. Here, gender is not required. Only employee ID, age is required. Gender is not required. So I remove it from here. I want to remove this particular gender values like this. What happened? It is selecting the remaining values also. Now my interest is very simple. I want to remove only this male only. A male containing a column only I want to remove. So that you keep pressing Alt button in your keyboard. So it's already pressed in my keyboard. So I'm selecting now so that it automatically do the vertical selection. So with this one, right now I can easily remove the variables if you want it. See, right now it is trying to give me the old output only. Try to give me ABC here. So then you try to see right now, I'm getting it only employee ID and age only, you're getting it. There is no gender variable at all. Not only just removing that particular variable. So imagine what you have done, you have removed it from here, right? So instead of remove, I want to copy it as a new column. So what I can do is select with alt. I'm just selecting it. I'm creating a one more variable with the name of kk is one variable. Maybe just imagine you have another variable called jj and dollar sign. I want to paste there also. So give a space and click enter. Okay, so just take a control V, so that what happens, I can just paste like this if you want it. Vertically you can copy it and vertically you can paste also. By just using alt with select option, we can use it. And so apart from that, we can use certain what I can say, the commenting lines. What is that commenting lines? This code, why I have written, I want to write a commenting line slash with star. I'm just telling to my SAS that so this is my emp data. What it is trying to tell me is it is my employee data as a label. So that means it is whenever I have written this particular line of code, it is trying to tell me in what scenario I have written this piece of code from 4th line to 13th line of code. So what scenario I have written, that commenting lines, it is trying to talk about it. So commenting lines are good programming practices in real time. The reason is what exactly this good programming practices means. Whenever you're writing any code, if you try to write some commenting lines like this, after you or maybe in behalf of you, someone else is working on your programs, when they are opening that particular program, as they are completely new to that program, so that commenting lines will guide a new person what to do next, because these commenting lines clearly give me the data. Okay, this is my employee data. Okay, maybe they'll try to write a purpose, employee data is created for xyz reasons. So you get to know, okay, that purpose they have done it in 3 months back or 4 months back, something like that, so that they can take the inputs from this particular this line of what I can say, that line of comments, so that they'll understand what to do. So that is one purpose. Purpose of first purpose is always by using commenting lines, we get to know more details about your program. Another thing is we try to write a commenting lines when you don't want a piece of code not to be used right now. Imagine client asks me, I have written a code like this, around 13 lines of code I have written. Maybe client is saying right now, I don't need 12th and 13th line of code. I have an option, I can select it and remove it, because if I want it in future, I can rewrite only 2 lines of code. It's not a big deal to write it in the later on stage if required. But imagine you have written around 100 lines of code, but now imagine total 1000 lines of code you have written. So around 300 lines of code is not required for right now. I can select all the 300 lines, I can remove it. It's easy to remove always. But instead of we remove it, what we do is we'll keep the program there itself. We'll tell to SAS not to execute it. How we can tell to SAS not to execute? By just mentioning a slash with star, and again at the end star with slash, you try to maintain it. So it will be turned into a blue color whenever, green color whenever it is turned into green. So this particular piece, even though you see that I'm selecting this particular total code, run it, don't expect the output in output window, because I have written a prop print here, but it is just got masked because of this commenting lines. Commenting lines play two important role. It is trying to give a more details about your program. That's one thing. Another is you can comment a piece of code which you don't want to run it. We can comment it. Okay, the shortcut for this particular commenting lines, do one thing. You remove everything. It is manually writing slash with star and star with slash. But I want to comment this piece of code. I can write it by using a control with question mark, so that I'm commenting it. See, I commented. I want to remove these quotations again. Control shift with question mark for uncommented. Control with question mark for comment. Control shift with question mark for uncomment. We can do with that also. Okay, so and apart from that, if you want to find something, imagine when I'm running my program in my log, there are plenty of things are there in this. I want to see, is there any errors in my log? I can control, just go to your editor window, control F, search for error. Okay, is there any error? And finding it, no errors. Is there any warning messages? Warn, I'm trying to search for it. Warning messages, even warnings also not there. Is there any note message in my data? So go for note. Yes, I have one note message it here. So I can see that find next, find next, find next. It is trying to give me. Okay, so not only just searching in the log, we can search something in the editor window also. Right now I have written very less programming. That means only 10 lines of code only I have written, but still I can find something. Imagine, is there anywhere? I'll try to open a big code. So from my desktop, let me try to open any code from the SAS tutorial folder from any of these batch. Imagine this much of big code I have written. Okay, now my interest is anywhere of my data set as written with the name of what I can say that RST I have written. Okay, if I want to find out is there anywhere written called RST, because when you are executing it, see here is the RST. You can find something in the editor also. When it is useful, imagine I have written RST and I'll try to do a mistake of this particular program, RSTX or something like that. Let me run it. I have run, but log will throw some errors to me. See, there is an error. When it is an error, wherever you have written a program called RSTX, so there we have an error that we got to know. So if I come back and by looking into this particular big code, where I can find that RSTX, I don't know. So go for Control F on the search for RSTX, where I have written, I want to know, click find next. See, it is clearly telling that in the 39th line you have written RSTX. So by using Control F, we can find something in this particular editor, log, output, wherever you can able to find out. So by just using Control F, so that we can find something. Okay, Naidu, you're finding nice. That's not a problem. So do one thing. You try to replace wherever it is a RSTX, try to replace as a RST only. Just imagine. Control H, you need to write it. So wherever you find the RSTX, try to replace with RST. So replace it. Yes. Just replace that one. If it is a multiple files you want to click on replace, then if you have around 20 times you need to replace, click on replace all. It will work like that. Control F for find, Control H for replace. Okay, so you just come to this PowerPoint presentation now. So we can just use Control O for opening the program, Control C for copying of selected text, Control V for pasting that copied text, Control S for saving the current file, Control X for cut the file, and Control F for finding it, Control H for replacing that text from existing one, Control with question mark for commenting it, Control Shift with question mark for uncomment it. Okay, I have explained that. And there is one more called Control Shift L and Control Shift H. What does that mean? Imagine I'm writing this particular program of mine, which is already written. I have a G1, G2 and all. I want to turn all these values into lower cases. All to select, I'm just selecting it. Control Shift with L so that I can make it everything into small. Control Shift with U, everything I can make it upper. Not only just the values within the cards, the total program I can select it, I can write it saying as a Control Shift U to make it total my program in upper cases. Control Shift with L, total program in lower case. If you want it, you can do that with this one. Okay, so that is your upcase and low case and all. We can just you easily convert with this. And apart from that, I want to erase everything in this. So I can use an option called Control E. It will erase everything. Not only here in my log also, you see that right now there are plenty of other things which you don't want it right now. I want to erase everything. Control E. You can just type it. Even that is also just erasing everything. So we can use Control Shift with U for Control Shift for U for converting into upper cases, Control Shift L for lower cases, Control E for erasing everything, and Alt select to select the columns in a vertical manner, Control Z for undo, Control Y for redo. So yeah, this is all the shortcuts you need to keep in mind while working with this particular SAS. It can be editor, log or output. All these keyboard shortcuts will work nicely. Any questions on this one? Please speak on. Anyone? Any questions?
Hello.
I'm here. Please continue.
Hello.
I can hear you, madam. Who's speaking?
Okay, okay. Shweta this side.
Yeah.
How do you remove that vertical column?
Vertical column. Huh? Imagine I want to
Yeah.
remove this G1, G2, G3, G2 are not required, right? Press Alt button in your keyboard, madam. Keep pressing that. Okay. Selecting this, it automatically select vertical. See, without Alt, what happens in when I select it, it will select the total data. I don't need it. I need only the vertical column only. Then go for pressing Alt and select it like this. Drop down. So select it and mouse over with it. Automatically, it will select vertically, madam.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shall I?
hello.
Yeah. Continue, please.
Yeah, sir, this is Mandeep. Actually, can you make it? Can you repeat once again the Control Shift plus question mark regarding
Control
the
shift with question
uncomment?
mark. So control, suppose imagine
Mm,
I have written something here in this particular program. So what is this question marks? You see that it is just to give you a piece of code to comment it. Okay, imagine client is asking, don't run this particular piece of code. We don't need it right now anymore. I can do control with question mark so that the total program is commented now. Instead of I removing it, so that even though it is available in your SAS program, it won't work anymore because we commented. You want to remove these comments, select the total program, control shift with question mark so that it is uncommenting it now. Can you see that now?
yes, yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
understood, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? Anyone?
Sir, your screen is a little bit lagging, sir.
Again, still today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Little
yes,
bit.
sir. Yes, little bit. Yes, screen is good.
Okay, however, we are just shifting into teams after 2 days of time. So we'll just see. So whenever you think that it's a bit lag, please let me know. I'll just see so that I can be slow down and then try to explain it again.
So one more thing. Where can we get about regarding the PowerPoint presentation, sir?
I will paste you everything, all those things onto your folder where I kept it here. Okay. So your backup is, I think in your backup right now, SAS 91, 92, your batches. So
92.
here, even the yesterday's video also I have posted here. Today, task and as well as PowerPoint presentation, everything will try to keep it here so that we'll give access to you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Shall I move to the next then? Yes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So now if we just move on, we do have some other windows, like we do have output window. So what is this output window? What we used to do with it? It contains a report generated by SAS procedures and data sets. So that means whatever the output we are getting in the output window right now, let me just close unnecessary stuff right now for time being. Okay, this is all not required. I'll just write it. See, without writing a run statement, when you run this particular program and execute it, don't get an output in output window at all. You just see, let me erase it by using Control E. Everything is vanished right now. Let me try running the program now, but don't expect output in output window. The reason is data onwards up to run step, we call it as the data step. Data step doesn't have a printing capability. It won't print anything even though you execute the program. You're really interested to print something in the output, you need to write a procedure like proc print is the procedure. We can write it data equal to your data set name, so that is going to be test semicolon and run. So then only it will allow me to print the output in output window. Otherwise output is just blank only. You see that output is generated in the output. You can see the SAS system is the default what I can say, the title which you will get it. Actually I have not given in my program, but still you will get that one. Another one is a column name called OBS, output delivery system. OBS is another statement, or maybe generally in Excel, if you remember, maybe if you're just looking into the Excel file, you try to open it. So there you just see, without writing any of these numbers, automatically these numbers are populating. It is trying to tell me which observation or which row you are at, so that we get to know in the Excel. The same thing we can do with a column name called OBS. Within the OBS 1, 2, 3 is the column names you are going to get it. Yeah. So even that is also possible. We can get it, the OBS, employee ID, age of the employee, and gender also you are going to get it. Okay, everything, but gender, employee ID, age, and gender, automatically you will get it in the data which is already there. But the things which are not mentioned in my program, still I'm getting it. The OBS column. OBS means observation number. First observation, second observation, third observation. Okay, we have total 3 observations in the data. Apart from that, the SAS system is the title you are getting it. That is one of the default one, you will get it. Apart from that, system date and time, you will get it. So actually, if you see, my system is trying to give me old date of 2024 and all. Yes, my SAS is running on the backdated version of September 3rd of 2014, because by the time it's already expired, we are using a trial version. In 2014, it's expired, but in my computer, today's date is a bit different, but still I can able to run my SAS and all. That's not an issue. So we can able to proceed with that one. So even for installation also, we need to use that old date of September 3rd of 2014 only. Yeah, we can use it. And apart from that, 6 you can see here. What is this 6? As of now, this particular output is generated 6 times. Imagine if I'm running the same program one more time, then the output what we are getting it somewhere some 8th time. That means last time it is a 7, I think. Last time is 7. And now this time it is going to be 8th time I'm getting it. If I'm running the same program one more time, so that 9th time you will get it. So system date and time, page numbers, the SAS system, OBS is the column by default. Every time it is trying to get an output window. Okay. Whenever you write a step called proc, so then only it will print the output in output window. That's what I'm trying to talk about this particular presentation. You just see here that contains a report generated by the SAS procedure and data set. It is one of the primary window open by default. Yes, whenever you open SAS, automatically SAS output window also will be get open, but it won't be active or it won't show any results until unless you written a proc print step. Okay, becomes an active window each time it receives an output. So when it is active, suppose imagine when I'm trying to run it, I'm not saying anything to open output or anything. I'm running directly proc print data equal to test. Whenever the program is correct, automatically output window will come up into the picture and it will try to show the result. Got it? Every successful output, the output window will be by default, it will get opened. It automatically, I don't need to worry about it. Imagine if you do a mistake here, imagine I forget to write a semicolon here, run the program, execute it. Okay, I have executed. Don't expect that output to be automatically come up and just displaying it, because I have some issues in my program, so it won't come up in that time. Understand? When it will be come up automatically, whenever there is your program 100% right, that time only it is used to display automatically, and it will pop up and it will try to show the result. As I have a issues in my program, so it won't come up or it won't display or anything. In real time, frankly speaking, we never ever write a proc print. So then what is the purpose of learning this, Naidu? It is mainly for your training and certification purpose. Proc print is really matters. In real time, instead of proc print, what we do is proc report procedure is another procedure I'm going to explain in upcoming classes to you. We use proc report is another procedure that is very regularly and regressively used one. Proc print, never ever we will use it in real time at all. There is no point of displaying just for displaying purpose output in output window, because instead of writing this particular piece of code, programmer can jump into the Explorer window and there you can directly open the data set of test and you can see the data. Why to write a program to just print it? It is just for giving you a reference. Actually, we never use a proc print in real time. We always write a different procedures. But however, you want to be activate your output window to display something, either of these procedures. It can be a proc print, proc report, proc means, proc correlation, proc regression, proc univariate. Okay, so proc live test. Any of these procedures we need to write it to activate your output. Otherwise, the output won't display the output at all. Data onwards up to run step is called data step. Proc onwards up to run step is called proc step. Running a proc step only, you will get the output in output window. Writing a data step won't get the output in output window at all. So now you can just go there and see that it becomes an active window each time whenever you're running the program, it is working. And another one is log window. So what is that log window? Any files that were read. Suppose imagine I'm trying to write a piece of code. Let me try to erase everything in the log. Control A, I erased everything. Nothing is there. So here, what I can do is I'm just trying to write my code here. Data onwards up to run. I'm writing it. Execute it now. So log is trying to give me the details, saying it as a data test input, employee ID, age, and gender data lines, and it is trying to display this one. So there are two colors you can see in your log. One is the blue and second one is black. The black color one, we call it as a source of your program, whatever the source code you have used, and that is printing it. The blue color one is called notes. Notes is trying to tell me that how many rows, that means 3 observations and 3 variables. Rows are called observations, columns are called variables. In my data, this is the 3 by 3 data. So that means 3 columns and 3 rows, 3 columns and as well as 3 rows containing a data. That means 3 variable and 3 observations containing a data I have created here, and that is just trying to tell me here. So the blue color messages is nothing but notes messages, and the black color one is nothing but source. It's very important, except the black color one, blue, black, green, red, all these 3 are very important in your real time. I will tell you the purpose of this one by one, but yes, every time whenever you're running any program, if the program is running smooth or not running smooth, by looking into your log, we get to know. Trying to understand the log, automatically you become a good SAS programmer in future. So how come it is, it is trying to tell you what exactly need to be fixed. When you're running the program, if the program having a issue, is log is trying to display some error or warning messages. By looking into that error and warning, and you need to understand what type of fix we need to do it here. Understand? So we can do that. So let's say, let me try to write it instead of data lines, I have written data line only. Just imagine. When I execute it, run the program, what log is trying to talk about? See, there is a one more color came into picture. So that is called green color. So green color with some number 14 to 169 and all. We don't need to worry about that particular number at all, because every warning and error message, there are some error codes. We don't need to remember of that 14 to 169 and all. 14 means don't expect even the line of code also not 14 or anything. It's a default. It will try to give, is there any spelling mistakes in your data? Actually, mainly for the data line statement, it is clearly saying that assuming the data lines was misspelled as a data line. Understand? So it is trying to give me that. Because of this particular small spelling mistake, SAS is not trying to stop the data set execution and all. It is just got executed and the data set also created, but log is trying to give this message. Your job as a programmer, make sure your log should not have any warnings or errors. Notes and source anyway, notes and source messages by default, it will be tried to display in log, but errors or warning messages, definitely get rid of it. If you want to see that where that mistake you have done, near to the data line statement you have done the mistake, and come back, see that data line statement where you have done. It is just, I know by looking into the red color itself, I get to know that what to fix. But yeah, I'll try to write it here. I'll try to correct it, data lines. So as a correct one, so that automatically my log, now what I'm getting it right now, if I execute it, see the fresh log will be generated now, so that the old one is there above, but now that is just fixed now. Now you want to erase everything every time when you are running your program, you do one thing. So you try telling your SAS by just mentioning DM, okay, DM quotations, you just mention log, then you just mention clear. You are trying to tell that display message of your log to be cleared every time when I'm running my program. That's it. The old log, you just scroll up, down, nothing. It won't appear at all. You see that? Every time there is no chance of getting your log old messages anymore, because every time I'm selecting this particular code, the old one is gone and new one freshly created. So by using this particular DM log clear, we can able to clear your existing logs. And one more is, there are certain cases that we do use to get errors also. Okay. So imagine I forget to write a semicolon here. Okay. Then what is going to be happen? When I try to execute it and run it, log is trying to tell me that it's a syntax error, 22 to 322, some syntax error. It is saying it, expecting one of the following name. SAS is expecting either comma, slash, or maybe semicolon. Either of these things are missing here. So that's what it is saying. But where it is showing until your gender. SAS thinks that it's all comes under one statement only. Data, test, input, employee, age, and gender all are comes under one statement only. SAS thinks, because semicolon I have written here, so that while it's compiling near to the gender, it will try to show, because this statement is ending here. That's what the problem is actually. So actually this particular semicolon need to end after your test. Okay, that's the meaning of it. That's what we are looking for. When you execute it and run it now, so now you can see that the old one is gone. So that means the issue what we have it earlier, so it is gone and it is fixed. So you may ask the question, Naidu, how we can able to fix this one where we are getting an error and all. So that's all about your practice. Okay, in upcoming days I will tell you few type of errors and warnings, so that while fixing itself you slowly learn that. But what you need to know right now is log is the window. It will try to display errors, warnings, notes, and source messages by default. Whenever you run any program, these 4 messages, okay, 2 messages are obvious. One is green and blue, one is blue, and the second one is black. So that automatically you will get it by default. But the green and red colors are dangerous one. We try avoiding it whenever you try writing the program. Avoiding means not to display those errors or warnings. Try avoiding writing issues in your program. Understand? When there is no issues in your program, then automatically log also will not display any errors or warnings. Make sure whenever you're releasing your outputs to someone of your maybe lead or your manager or someone who can able to do the review of your outputs, whatever you have created, you try erasing, or maybe try make sure that not to have any errors or warning messages in your log. In that time only you need to hand over your outputs, whatever you have created, to someone. If you try to hand over with that errors, that will come as a finding in future. Then they'll say that, okay, something is not properly fixed, please fix it and send it back. Okay, they'll try to give that messages. So log play very important role. Understanding the logs, automatically you are succeeding into this particular SAS programming industry. Okay, log is trying to tell everything what mistakes you are doing it. Okay, come to this particular PowerPoint presentation. So here log is any file that were read. It is trying to show that records that were created, how many rows or how many columns, and even that is also showing the program execution results. That means if you just see in this one, in this particular log, so it is trying to show that how much time it is showing. You see real time of this one, and as well as CPU time. What is this? Actually all are 0 zeros. When it is a huge quantity of the data sets, there you can see a difference. Okay, real time it is taking as a 3 minutes of time. The CPU time it is taking around 2 minutes of time or something like that. It is trying to display the minutes and seconds and all. So it is trying to tell that details also, how much time it took to execute this particular program, and those details also we can see in the log. We generally not worried about much, but sometimes it is very important when you are working on a huge quantity of the data set, millions and trillions of records containing a data set. When you are executing it, there you can see a little bit difference on this particular, what I can say, this numbering. Okay, that time you can see a real numbering, but right now it's a very small quantity of the data. Even milli and fractional seconds of your time it is automatically taking to execute the program. That's the reason why it is actually not 0 0. It is somewhere 0.1 second or something like that. It is there in the backend, but that I can't see it. Only 2 digits only it is trying to display after the decimals. So yeah, so that's the reason why even the time what execution also happen, it is trying to display in your log message according to this PowerPoint presentation. Okay, and any errors or warning messages also, yeah, we have seen that. Is there any warnings or errors in the log? Even that is also we can see in the log window. Clear? Any questions on this one? Shall I move to the next? Yeah.
Hello, sir. Why did we write that DM log clear?
The reason is every time what I do is to answer your question. See, every time what happens, every time the old message of my log is there. Whenever I'm running my program, it is just getting appended with my old one. See, old one is there, a new one is created. Still my old one is there with me. My interest is, Let's get rid of all these particular old errors or warning messages and all. I don't need it, any of these, while running my program. So then I can tell to my SAS dm log clear. What it will do is, when you execute this piece of code, you come back and see your log is nothing, all are cleared. If you are running the program now, what happens, the fresh log information only you will get it. You won't get the old log at all. Can you see that? There is no option for you to scroll up. Earlier, there are plenty of log messages earlier there, but now when I apply dm log clear, all my old log is gone and fresh log only is creating now. Understood? You're clear, madam? Maybe please unmute yourself and talk to me. Remaining, can you able to hear me? Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir. So one more doubt actually. Sir, ఇప్పుడు like I can speak in Telugu, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఓబిఎస్ గురించి మాట్లాడారు. అవుట్పుట్ డేటాలో అవుట్పుట్ లో వచ్చేసి మనం ఫస్ట్ ఓబిఎస్ అనేది ఒక ఫార్మాట్ లాగా నెంబర్ డిజిట్స్ లాగా వస్తుంటాయి. సో మనం నార్మల్ గా ఇప్పుడు మన దగ్గరకు ఒక క్లయింట్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ కోసం ఇచ్చినప్పుడు, ఒక డేటా ఇచ్చినప్పుడు, మనము 1 2 3 అని నెంబర్స్ వేసుకునే బదులు లైక్ ఓబిఎస్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా జనరేట్ చేస్తుందా, లేకుంటే ఆర్ఎల్స్ వి నీడ్ టు
So that automatically generates. OBS is the default of your SAS. We don't need to worry about it. Okay. So proc print, when I try to run it, data equal to data set name, test, semicolon and run. So the OBS column is the default nature of SAS. We don't need to worry about it. You see, it automatically generates.
Yeah.
Maybe your interest is not to display. Then we can tell to our SAS by just mentioning no OBS. We can write it. So that time the OBS column won't be get it. You see that? The OBS is no more.
Yeah.
Default is
Yes, sir.
active. If you don't want it, we have a program to write it to deactivate it. Yeah, that will work.
Yeah, that's it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next question. Okay. Shall I move to the next slide then, if you don't have any questions?
Yes.
Right. Explorer window. Explorer window in SAS, it's mainly libraries is the place where we generally store our data, and there we have a work and permanent libraries also, and file shortcuts, favorites and folders in this computer. What does this means? Let me just go for it. You just see here on this particular Explorer window. Let me just come back. See, most of you have an issue. Okay, I have opened something. How to go back is nothing but here is an option. Click on up one level back. Now you are at Explorer window. If you're just looking into the Explorer window, default libraries, then followed by the file shortcuts, followed by the favorites and folders, and this PC. So this is what I can say, that the list of things we will have it in the Explorer window. Explorer window exactly like your pocket man to your shirt or maybe trouser. So that's a pocket. Generally pocket, what we try to do, we try to store something. It can be a mobile, it can be a wallet, or it can be a money, it can be a pen. Anything we'll try to store it. The same thing, even Explorer window, we try to store your information of your data. Whatever the data of your test, where it is trying to store. See, log is trying to tell me errors are there or not. Output is trying to tell me that, okay, whatever the output I have generated, it is printing it here. But where that particular data set of mine, which I'm creating right now, test, where it is storing, here libraries is the key place where it is storing automatically. You just open it in the libraries location, automatically it will storing. So, but the problem is there are plenty of libraries are available where it will be storing. Default SAS will try to store it in work library. See, every work what you are trying to do, once you open the SAS, running your SAS program, how many data sets you have created, all the data set list you can able to get it in the work library. Okay, whatever you are writing it, everything will be get stored in the work library. You see that everything is getting stored in the work library only right now. But the work library is a temporary library. Why I say so? So the reason is, imagine I have created my dataset name with the name of test right now. Yes, I have my dataset of test, which is already there here. Yeah, that's fine. Not only test, there are plenty other things also available. That let it be. Once I close my SAS session, just imagine I'm closing my SAS. What I will do, I'll try to open it again. When I try to open it again, now you just see, go to your library's location, work library, all are empty. The reason is, whenever you store something, it will be there until you closing the SAS. Once the SAS session closed and open again, all the work library containing information will be wiped off. You're really interested to store that particular data for a future reference. Let's not to store it in work library. Naidu, even earlier also, where I said to save my particular program to be saved into data set of my, my data set to saved into work and all. You haven't said, but default automatically it will try to take that particular location. If you don't want it, you want to store it in another library, like permanent libraries, like you want to store it in SAS user library. You see that Naidu dataset, which I have not created just now, but still it is there with me because it is created earlier. Like this, if you could able to store your dataset into this particular SAS user, so it will be there even for future also as a permanent. How can I tell to my SAS to store this as a permanent, what I can say that data set and all? So right now, okay, let me try to open that code, what I have written. See, as I have opened my program, I want to open the recent 5 programs I can open from here. 4 programs I can open from here. I'll try to open my practice 2 program from here. Yeah, this is my code, which is I have opened. So what happened when I try to run it, it is default storing into work. See, let me just try to run it and execute it. Even the log also trying to say that work.test. That means ABC dataset is saved into the work library. That's what the meaning is. But now I'm not interested to save it in work. Then what I can tell that I want to save it in SAS user. How can I tell to my SAS to save it in SAS user? You need to mention it as a SAS user dot your ABC. When you run this piece of code, automatically new data set is stored into the SAS user library. Yesterday, if you remember, when I try to refer some data from the SAS help library, I try to call it as a SAS help.harp dataset. Meaning is, so the dot before your value is going to be your library. The dot after your value is nothing but your dataset value. So now I'm trying to tell to my SAS that store your ABC dataset in SAS user library. That's what I'm trying to tell. Even when I try to run this particular piece of code, do one thing. Let me try wiping your ABC dataset in work library. Just imagine when I try to run this particular piece of code, I'll get an error message in my log saying it file work.abc does not exist. I will get this message. The reason is when I'm not giving any location of my library, SAS default thinks that the dataset is available in work library. It is trying to pick up from that location. You're really interested not to take it from the work. So then you need to mention it as, so you where that particular data set is available, actually speaking, that is available in SAS user, not in the work library. Then I can tell that to SAS user dot abc, it is trying to store into that particular location, so that when I'm printing also, I'm picking up from that particular location. So writing your dataset name plus dot plus your library name. So that is the location of the data where you are storing it. Okay, come to your PowerPoint presentation, libraries. And so as you know, work library, we have a permanent library, like SAS user is one permanent library. So there is one more library also with us. Generally, we can't use it. You just see here. So another library, go to your SAS help library. You just see this library, there are plenty data sets available. So even yesterday's data also, I try to pick up from this particular location only. Got it? In the last class, when I explained about sashelp.org, I tried to pick up. Did I created this? Can I create my new data set into ABC? ABC into my SAS help? Let me do that. SAS help dot ABC, I'm trying to create it. When I try to execute and run that, log will try to throw this message. User don't have appropriate authorization level for the library SAS help. The reason is you can't store anything in the SAS help. You can't you can't modify anything the existing data sets. At the same time, you can't create a new data sets also into the SAS help, because it's a read-only access library. It is appearing, you can use it for your purpose, like yesterday what we have done with the data analysis and all. So we can use it in that way, but you can't create any new data sets in SAS help and all. Then in that case, Naidu, how come all these data sets are came into picture? When I install the 13 GB software in my computer, automatically this particular SAS file package, that help package also get installed default, and it is there with us. And people who are using a SAS Studio, okay, here you need to give a focus. In the SAS Studio software, even SAS user and SAS help both also is a read-only access library. You can't store any data in SAS user also in your SAS Studio. It will try to throw the error, same error if you are trying to store it in SAS user also. So as user and SAS help in your real time, in your not real time, in your SAS Studio online version of your SAS software, it won't work. In that case, we try creating your own libraries with your own names or something like that. You just see right now I have created a PP. Okay, like that you can create your own libraries. That is my next class. I'm going to talk about it, how to create a library, how to store the data and all. I'll try to talk about that details there. But time being, what I suggest you is here in this one, you can store your outputs in the form of a SAS data sets in libraries location. By default, it will be get stored in work. If you don't want it, you can give any other destination where you want to store it. Yeah, I can just mention that one. So this PowerPoint presentation is trying to talk about the libraries and files and permanent libraries. So that particular line you understood. What is this file shortcuts? What is this file shortcuts? You just see in this particular editor. So we have something called, you just come back. You click on come back, this one. Okay. So now you can see that this is called file shortcuts. Whenever you think, generally we not use any of these three things. Actually, libraries is the key thing. We try to use it in real time. But however, you want to know what is the purpose of these file shortcuts, favorites and folders. Very simple. Whenever you want to use certain programs again and again, every day, day in, day out of your work, you want to take a shortcut icon, you want to keep it in this particular SAS software itself, you can do that. Let me try to open it. There is nothing inside it. Let me maybe imagine every time I'm using a code of, what I can say that every time I'm using the code of this particular practice 2 code, every time I'm using it for my purpose. Let me close this one. My interest is, whenever is required, I want to quickly open that 2 instead of go to file, open and all. Let me create a shortcut for this one. Click on new file shortcut. It will ask me, give a name for it. You can give a name for anything. Let's say LLL or something like that. I can just give a name, enable this option called startup. But that means automatically whenever the system started, whenever the SAS is launching, automatically this software, this particular program will be get connected where that program is located. So I know that the program is located on my C drive at D drive in this particular location called practice. So in this location called practice 2 is the file every time I'm trying to use it for my purpose. So what I'll do is, actually what happens, I will get some option called cloak. Okay, but that is not happening with this particular new software. Let me do one thing. Actually, I will have an option of okay somewhere. Done. So now you just see that. So this one, what happens, this file shortcut is created now. So what happens, tomorrow when I'm just do one thing, I'm just closing the SAS for today. Okay. So tomorrow I'm freshly opening the SAS software again. Okay. I want to open that file. One option is I can go to file and click open and all. Instead of that, go to file shortcuts and click on LL. Automatically my code is ready. So this is a way of creating a shortcut of existing programs. But we never do in real time, because every 2 or 3rd day, we try to work on the different programs. So how many programs we try keeping it into this particular file shortcuts locations and all. Because when you're working on a real time, we need to work on n number of outputs or n number of programs. Which programs you try keeping it, because it is not that much easy that we are trying to keep that particular one program, so that working on the same program for multiple days and all. No, mostly it is not possible. They'll hardly give it a chance of creating one program for 3 or 4 days. After 4 days, you need to just jump into another program and then you need to work on it. So I suggest, not I suggest, I think we will not use it. But for your training, I can use it. One more is, whatever the classes I'm giving it, you want to create a folder for it. Suppose imagine my documents and my desktop is the default one. Instead of that, you want to create your own folder structure. Create a folder. Let's imagine Naidu classes is the folder I want to create it. Where that folder is located, whatever the classes I'm just giving it to you on everyday basis, all are available in the practice folder. Directly give a folders itself. Click OK. Now you see. So now click on Naidu classes. With all the classes of mine, you will get the list. So whatever the classes, I try to keep it on that particular folder so that I can able to open like this. Yeah, if you want it. And one more is here. Come back. So file shortcuts and favorites of this PC means you double click on it. Directly you can navigate to your D drive and go to your folder where you have created or for practice, and then you can navigate it from that also. Either of these options we can use it, but frankly speaking, we never do that. We always go for option called file open option and open for that particular SAS program, and that is how we do in real time. Okay, we will not use any other methods at all. Good. So, and that is about your Explorer window. Explorer window, we have it libraries and work library. We call it as a temporary library, and any other libraries we call it as a permanent libraries. And file shortcuts are available, favorites and folders available. This computer also available. And one more is called result window. What is result window? You see, whenever you run any program, okay, let me close my, instead of closing, did I created any results? Okay, see, when I'm running that particular program, data onwards up to run step, don't expect my output to be created in the output window. Yeah, it is not creating. When output is not creating, there is no chance of result window. What is the difference between output and result window? Output, it will try to display the current output. A result window, it will try to display how many outputs you have generated. Imagine I have opened my practice folder and I have written a proc print. When I execute it, one output generated. That means one thing is listed in the result window. Imagine if I'm running the another one, same program. So it is saying as page 2, but you can see the result window is the one more branch is created. So that is your SAS system is the another branch is created. So another one is, if I'm trying to run the same program, another branch is created. Like that, n number of outputs you executing it, n number of times, not outputs, n number of times you're executing, those many successful proc print outputs are going to be added here. Not only the proc print, instead of proc print, imagine I want to write, instead of a proc print, I'll try to write another code at the down, saying it as a proc means, okay? Proc means when I try to do it. So now even the mean output I'm getting it. What it is, that's not your headache for time being. You see that in the result, it is trying to display the mean output. All are above all are proc print outputs, and this is mean output. Suppose when you are open SAS running 100 programs, all the 100 outputs you can able to see in your result window, but only the current output or the latest output only we can see in output window. Output window shows the current output. Result window, it will show all the results of your program, how many you have executed after opening your SAS and running it. Once you close and opening, so then everything what is there in the result window will be get vanished. Even log window containing information will be vanished. Output window containing information also will be vanished. Even Explorer work library containing information also will be get vanished. Even result window also will vanish. So we always need to store your program. It will ask only one dialog always. See, when I'm closing it, it will ask me this dialog. What is that? Are you sure want to end the SAS session? Yes, I'm clicking OK. Then it will ask me another dialog saying it. Do you want to save this particular changes to your practice too? You click yes, those changes will be there. If you click no, those changes are no more with us. See, I'm closing the SAS and automatically the file also will be get saved. If I'm only the program, it is asking me, do you want to save or not save? It is not asking for log. It is not asking for output. It is not asking for your libraries, and it is not asking for result also. So program is milk. Imagine in your home, You want to make a curd, whenever the milk is ready, at least within 3 to 4 hours, you can make a curd out of it. If you want to make a cheese or paneer or maybe butter, so buttermilk, any of these things, we can do everything when the milk is available at home. Same thing, we need to save our program ready. Once you have a program, you can easily you can easily create a byproduct of a log. If you want it, we can generate it with that program. And by using the same program, we can generate output. By using same program, we can generate a data set. By using same program, we can generate the result window also. All those things we can control it. Make sure you need to save the code, mainly the SAS program file, you need to save it. So that is one thing you need to keep in mind. With this, we done with the different windows in SAS. Now you know the purpose of each window: editor window, writing the program, log window, checking of errors and warning messages, output window to display the output in output window, and explorer window. Libraries is the key place we are storing the data. There you can see work library is a temporary library. Result window, it will show all the results of your SAS. As promised, we done with total 5 windows in SAS, like our 5 fingers in a hand. Each window wise, the usage right now, you are clear with it. I hope. Let me know if you have any questions from anyone.